What's good, combo fans? I am Bryant Cook, and today we're playing Pioneer Neoform. The last two times that I've uploaded this deck, it's a 5-0 trophy run that you can find in the card above, and then after that video, there is a 4-1 run where I only lost to Azorius control. You can also find that in the card above. So 9-1 in the last two rounds. And I'm looking to, last few videos, whatever, I can't talk, but I'm looking to improve upon that today, maybe get back to that 5-0 trophy run. So what are we doing? So in that video, I lost to Azorius control and I kind of got destroyed. And in the comment section, a lot of people provided comments about what creatures I could possibly pivot to instead of running Hullbreaker Horror. So today we are running Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Or I'm sorry, Sphinx of the Final Word. Sphinx of the Steel Wind is a different card. Once again, can't talk today. So Sphinx of the Final Word is a 7-mana 5/5 creature. This spell can't be countered. Flying and hexproof, which is a big deal because we don't want it being targeted by Teferi or another card where it just gets tucked. A lot of people recommended cards that blue-white control can just easily answer, which is sort of the issue. One of the problems with that matchup is if you do slip something through the cracks, they have so much removal just waiting. And that's why the Velomachus Lorehold win doesn't really work as well. So Sphinx having hexproof is a big deal. Then on top of that, all of our instants and sorceries are uncounterable after that. So I'm looking to pivot into this sort of role against them. But I'm also looking to just board out a lot of the extra turns package. So you'll see here we have 4 copies of Duress, 2 Sphinx, and 3 Spell Pierce. We're looking to side out 4 copies of Karn's Temporal Sundering, and then 4 copies of Part the Waterveil along with our dragon. So that's 10 cards. We likely have to leave in 1 unless we board out an Abrupt Decay. So that's sort of what we're doing. We're looking to just move away from the pure combo deck and just sort of be a mid-range combo deck instead. We still have the Dracuseth for the creature matchups, but also decks like Spirits, that sort of thing. Same thing with the Dragon Lord Atarka. Still the same deck. What we lost out of the sideboard was a Leyline of Sanctity. Instead, we're playing the Spell Pierce. I understand that red block controls as popular as ever, but Spell Pierce should still be pretty effective against those decks. You also have Duress. We'll be just fine. In the main deck, we actually have a brand new card from Dominaria United, Founding the Third Path. It has Road Ahead, so you can skip to any single chapter that you want, but you can't go back. Once you skip a chapter, it's gone. You can't do it. So when it enters the battlefield that turn, you can go to chapter 1. You can cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand that costs 1 or 2 without paying its mana cost. So you can play this on turn 2, just immediately cast a Contingency Plan or a Thoughtseize. How wonderful. The second chapter on it is to mill 4 cards, so you can just mill yourself for 4. So you do get sort of a Taigam scheming or a Contingency Plan effect that way. And then the third mode is you can exile an instant or sorcery from your graveyard, copy it, and you can cast that spell. So Neoform. A lot of people have asked me, why am I not playing 4 of this? It seems really, really broken, right? Like, you get to do everything you want, you get extra copies in Neoform. What could possibly be wrong? Well, blind mill isn't really what we want. So you'll notice Otherworldly Gaze, Taigam Scheming, and Contingency Plan all provide selection because we don't want blind mills. Sometimes we need to find the creature, or we don't want to mill dragon, or we are looking for land 3. Blind mills are just not as effective. So today we are trying to not play the, what was it called? I can never remember the name of cards. Let's go to Wish Lotus combo. I'm running Shimmer in this list. What is it? Strategic Planning. I remembered. I'm not that old. So we're cutting Strategic Planning for Founding the Third Path. We're going to see how that goes. But for the most part, this is the same deck list that I've been running. We're just trying the Founding the Third Path in the slot instead of Strategic Planning, which I think should be just fine. You could play 4. I think it's a little bit risky for my taste, so do whatever best suits you, but I'm looking to stay consistent while being powerful. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I will see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Alright, time for the first match. We're on the draw. Here we're lacking a second land, and honestly, this many Hooting Mandrills is just terrible. So we're going to take a very quick mulligan, and our opponent revealed a Gigantha, which likely means that they're on the Boros aggro deck. Here we have a lot of sculpting power. We have the Hooting Mandrills. What we're really lacking here is the Neoform. I think that this is a pretty easy keep, and we just bottom the part the Waterveil. One of the nice features of this deck is that when you mulligan, putting those extra time walk effects on the bottom is actually a benefit, because if you keep 7 and there's a time walk in there, it just means that you're less consistent, so you're sometimes rewarded for being disciplined when you mulligan. Alright, and it is in fact the Boros Prowess deck. We'll take 1 here from the Swift Spear. We're looking for a turn 3 win, so we need to find that Neoform and do our thing. It's worth noting that our opponent has the Reckless Rage in their deck, so playing out the Hooting Mandrills early can actually bite you in the butt. So don't take unnecessary risks, I guess is the message here. So we have land 3. All we need to do is find Neoform. That's all we want. There's land 2. Virtuoso. Okay, we could just be dead on their turn 3. I hope not, but it could happen. We found the Neoform. How lovely. Alright, we're going to leave this on top. Untap, draw. I wonder if I'm even supposed to play Founding the Third Path here. I think it's just the scheming, so that way I can select a little bit. Like, I just don't need to play this. I think I'm actually going to leave the Botanical Sanctum on top, so you could mill it. But if you do, you have to shock yourself. So if my opponent deals me 16 damage, I can't win the game. I think it's just like pretty free here to leave yourself with the ability to not take extra damage. Okay, we'll leave the Sanctum on top. Pass the turn. And I just have to hope that I get to untap here. They have 3 cards in hand. Ancestral Anger. Okay, they get to Connive. If you're unfamiliar, Connive is discard a card, draw a card. So they're discarding a favored Hoplite, and now they get to draw. They also get to draw off Ancestral Anger. So it's up to 3, and this creature has double strike. So as of right now, we'll be taking 8 damage down to 10. Okay. A favored Hoplite. So we get to do our thing now. We'll play the 3rd copy of Botanical Sanctum, tap this for a green. Let's play a Hoots. When we're delving, we want to make sure to leave the Otherworldly Gaze in the graveyard, because that could help us sculpt a future Time Walk effect off of the dragon. So we're going to go get the Velomachus Lorehold here, go to combat, attack and trigger it. We're looking for a Time Walk. We hit one. Let's cast Karn's Temporal Sundering. We'll take an extra turn, and we'll bounce the Virtuoso. Okay. Untap. We'll take a draw. Flash back the Otherworldly Gaze here. And we did find apart the Waterveil. So we're going to leave that on top. Put this on top of our deck. Play the Mana Confluence. Go to combat. We'll attack. We triggered the Lorehold. We'll look at the cards. Cast part the Waterveil. Okay. And now we'll go to 9. Let's cast Founding the Third Path. So we get to choose what number we go to. Let's just start it on chapter 1. It doesn't matter. Okay, now we go to our next turn. Ooh, it actually would have been better to start it on chapter 2, because then this turn I'd be flashing back the scheming. So it did end up mattering. But I'll target myself to mill for in case I hit another copy of Otherworldly Gaze. We mill the Karn's Temporal Sundering, so I could be punished by that decision. Alright, let's get in there. Attack for 6. This would put them to 2 life. We hit another copy of Karn's Temporal Sundering. Love it. Bounce your favorite hoplite. I am the one that is favored. Play Breeding Pool. And now we untap and attack for the win. Take that, Boros aggro. And they concede. Boom! Let's do that again. Alright, so we could bring an Abrupt Decay here, but I'm not sure if that's actually better than anything we have going on. It's probably better than Thoughtseize, actually. I don't think Thoughtseize is really that good in the matchup, so we could try that out. You could also try boarding in a Dragonlord Acharka. I do think that Dracuseth is just a little too slow here, so I'm not super interested in that. I think I'm only going to board in 3 Decay. It's just a little bit clunky, and if I'm going to board in the Dragonlord, I don't want to take out a real card in my deck. One of the issues with Dragonlord Acharka, if you are pressured into getting it with Neoform, is it can clear your opponent's board or whatever, but their creatures get pretty huge quickly, and then on top of that, it takes a lot of time to win. Alright, so this thing's just slow. Can't even cast the Abrupt Decay. We're going to 5. This is good. This is a very good hand. Keep. I think we bottom Founding the Third Path and the Mana Confluence. So all we have to do with this hand is simply find a third land. And this is why you're rewarded for mulliganing with this deck, because you're really just looking for specific cards. Alright, there's the Swift Spear. Ouch. Play the Watery Grave first here, because that means on turn 3 we're not dealing ourselves 2 damage to Neoform. Alright, they have land 2. 10th District Legionnaire. So we'll take 3 going to 16. Draw. Play the Blooming Marsh. Scheming. Alright, so we'll mill the Decay. The Mandrills. I don't want to draw the Karn's Temporal Sundering, but I do need to have enough cards to delve. So the scheming counts itself in the graveyard. Well, it will count for the Tasigur, I mean. So this is 3 cards and I need 5. So if I leave the Karn's Temporal Sundering, I'll be drawing it. I guess if that's the case, I should just leave the Contingency Plan instead. Pass the turn. Battlefield Forge. They'll attack, currently only for 3 though. We go to 13. Luminator Virtuoso, okay. And another plan. We will tap the Watery Grave for the Tasigur. Okay. And they have a mana open, so if I got Acharka here, I could theoretically clear their board, but if they have any spell in their hand, these both get larger, I can maybe kill the Virtuoso, it's pretty risky. So instead of taking that risk, I'm just going to go grab the dragon. And by the dragon, I mean Velomachus Lorehold. I guess both dragons in the deck currently are Elder Dragons as well. They're not fledgling. Alright, we'll grab the Karn's Temporal Sundering. We'll take an extra turn and bounce the Virtuoso, I guess. Alright, they take 6, and they're already at a divisible of 6 life, which is pretty good for us. Another copy in Neoform. Let's cast this Contingency Plan. And this is another nice aspect of these cards, because I'm helping to keep the chain moving. With the Founding the Third Path, you don't get to sculpt your deck for Velomachus like you would with these cards. Alright, I did hit another Time Walk. Let's cast that. And that actually just represents lethal. Boom. I love this deck so much. I think people sleep on it because they think it's too linear, but this deck is just so efficient at what it does. And our opponent concedes the game. Alright, so we have won match number 1. I know that you loved it, so stick around for match number 2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Alright, match number 2 on the play. Unfortunately, this is a mulligan. Busted hand, we will keep. We like the good ones. So it's interesting here. We have double copy of Otherworldly Gaze, and we also have this Tasigur. So you might be thinking we need 3 lands to win, let's bottom the Otherworldly Gaze. I don't think that's actually correct here, because we get to do something a little bit unique with this hand, which is not focus on casting a 2-drop on turn 2. Instead, we can play Breeding Pool Otherworldly Gaze, untap Otherworldly Gaze, play Tasigur into turn 3 Neoform without the 3rd land. It depends on what our opponent's playing. Obviously, my game plan could change here, but we could potentially open ourselves up to removal with the Tasigur. That's why it matters on the matchup. But if it's a matchup where they can't remove the Tasigur, we can accelerate ourselves a little bit. Alright, they're on 6 cards. What are you playing? Plains. Hopeful Initiate. So I believe they're on the Humans deck. Let's cast this Otherworldly Gaze. We're just going to mill everything. Okay, you have a human warlock. Part the Waterveil. Ouch. And actually, we can just hardcast the Tasigur here, or I can Otherworldly Gaze. I think we should probably cast the Gaze, because if we find 3rd land, and we did, we can play Neoform through Athalia next turn, and I think that's slightly better. And you get to keep the Otherworldly Gazes in the graveyard for potential flashback value. So we'll remove the cards without flashback. That's pretty much the game plan here. Okay, the black mana. We have our creature. Pass the turn. Okay. Our opponent with the lovely original Ravnica Plains. Pretty sweet. Another Hopeful Initiate. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the training mechanic does. Whenever this creature attacks with another creature... Okay, let's read this again. Whenever a creature attacks with another creature with power greater, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay. We'll take a draw. We will put Neoform on the stack. Grab a Velomachus Lorehold, play my land tapped. We only have 6 Time Walk effects in the deck, so we could miss here. I hope we don't, but it's certainly possible we hit. Alright, so we will cast Part the Waterveil. Untap. They'll take a bunch of damage. You'll love to see that. Okay. In my upkeep, I'm going to flashback. Okay, we don't really need any of these. Am I supposed to keep land 4? So that way I don't draw a Time Walk? Probably. Alright, so I'll draw the 4th land that I don't really want, and we'll attack. Hiya! We hit another Time Walk effect. Karn's Temporal Sundering, target us, bounce their creature. And now they go to 8 life. Easy peasy. Turn 3 squeezy. That's what this deck's good at. And our opponent concedes. Love it. Alright, game 2. Once again, I don't think that this is a Thoughtseize matchup. We'll take that out. This time I might try boarding a little differently, because they're a big creature deck. So, by big creature, I mean small creature deck that goes wide. So I am interested in the Drakuseth here. I think that we have enough time in the matchup. Same thing with the Dragonlord Atarka. And I'm only going to try 2 copies of Abrupt Decay. Let's see how that pans out. One nice feature of Spell Pierce over Leyline of Sanctity, by the way, is that you can counterspell a turn 2 Rest in Peace. I don't know if you want to board that in preemptively against a deck like Humans, but it's an option that you do have. We could also try boarding out the Foundings for the other decays. I didn't consider that previously. Let's try this out. Yeah, look at Dracuseth not being an Elder Dragon. How lame, right? Like, you have all these sweet Elder Dragons in your deck, and then there's just this regular dragon. Come on. Wizards needs to put some respect on Dracuseth's name, upgrade it to an Elder. Come on. Okay, game 2. We have the Neoform, but no creature, no mill spells. I think it's just a simple mulligan. This hand's clunky. We'll go to 5. This is probably the best hand we've seen yet. We just need to draw into land 2. We'll bottom the Time Walk and then a mill effect. Alright, this hand's good. We just have to find running lands. Can we do it? Plains. The Initiate. Draw. Did not need another Tasigur. That's unfortunate. Pass the turn. Mutavault. Failure. Okay, so this is going to be dangerous. I need to find lands here. Whew. We did it. We did it. Okay. Guess we bottom 1 Watery Grave? Or mill 1 copy of Watery Grave? Then we'll just leave these. Okay. So the Thalia slows us down, but we can still cast spells. We'll be fine. Alright, this turn we're just playing a tapped Watery Grave and passing. They have land 3. Thalia's Lieutenant. Oh, their creatures got a little bit larger. And another copy of Hopeful Initiate. Now we're taking 5. Alright. Draw. So I'm going to 11 here. Am I just dead on board? 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I'm dead if they have any creature they can play and pump Mutavault. I have to get pretty lucky in order to win, I think. Actually, I'm not even sure if I can win. So in order to win, I would need an untapped land next turn that doesn't deal me damage. Yeah, I think I'm actually just dead. Let's go to the next one. Alright, they got me there. Let's go again on the play. Game 3. Yes, I'd like to be first. So this hand has everything other than the mill effect, but it has 2 of these. I think I'm just going to mulligan. Really good hand. We just need a creature here. And we have 8 of those in the deck. I'm going to snap this off. Bottoming the Karn's Temporal Sundering because it is the better of the 2 Time Walk effects. By putting it back into our deck, we can possibly reveal it. Keep. Bottom the Karn's Temporal Sundering, as I mentioned. Alright. I'm going to pop out our graveyards real quick. Play our Watery Grave. Yes, I'd like to hurt myself. Pass the turn. Plains not from Ravnica, but once again the Hopeful Initiate. Cast the Otherworldly Gaze. No creatures here, but there is a 3rd land. I'm just going to keep land 3. I mean, we need it anyway, so we're just hoping that the scheming finds the creature. Alright, so I'm going to go to 17 and cast this Taigam Scheming. No creature, and we're milling a dragon. That's a bummer. Okay. Why am I milling all 5? I could have kept one of those cards. I want to leave myself the opportunity to potentially draw into the creature. And there's Thalia. So the new game plan is likely flashback Otherworldly Gaze if we don't hit the creature. Or I can now play the Contingency Plan. Let's do that. Going to 15. A lot of damage off these lands. No creature again, and we're milling the other dragon. Wow, this is a little bit unlucky. Okay. We've milled both of our creatures, so now we're only on Acharka or Dracuseth. 40 cards left in deck, so that means we've seen 33% of our deck at the moment. 3 lands, Archon of Emeria. That's actually fine for the game plan we're trying to create at the moment. Take a draw. That's a bummer. Geez. We're taking 6 next turn. I think we might actually just be dead. Pass the turn. This is a good matchup, too. I just, variance got me a little bit here. Yep, we're definitely dead. So now we're taking 8, and we're going to 3. I can go to 2 and cast this Otherworldly Gaze, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, we're just dead. Alright, unfortunately, we are now 1-1. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Third match, once again, we're looking for a creature. It should be pretty easy. We have 8 of them in the deck, so let's just have a little bit more faith in our deck this time and try to get this first game. Concealed Courtyard. Thoughtseize. So we're likely losing the Neoform here. If I had to guess, this is probably one of the Grease Fang decks. They come in a couple different flavors at this point, but they're almost always at least Orzhov, and then Mardu is the most popular, Abzan, and sometimes you'll see Esper, but that one's pretty uncommon. Neoform down. Draw. Alright, we'll play the Botanical Sanctum, pass the turn. So this is a matchup where having the new card from Dominaria, I can't think of its name right now, but where that would actually be of benefit due to our Neoform being discarded. Alright, and they just passed the turn here. No information from the Mana Confluence. Let's cast Otherworldly Gaze. We found the Hoots, so let's keep Hoots. Put this on top. We are not going to cast this because we just don't want it to die, so instead we will play a Blooming Marsh. I think actually I should play the Contingency Plan. Flashing back the Otherworldly Gaze is not worth it. Holy Time Walk effects, Batman. Let's mill these. Pass the turn. Grizzly Savage. So they're Abzan. Okay. They have the Chariot. That's another vehicle that they can get back other than Parhelion. Do you have land 3 and a Grease Fang? They do not. So instead they have Ravine's Informant that allows them to connive. Once again, that is discard a card and draw a card. Back in my day, we called it Rummage, but they decided to call it Connive instead. Alright, let's see what the draw is. Boo! Alright, so we're just going to play a land tapped here past the turn. On their end step, we can flash back Otherworldly Gaze, and then hopefully try to put together a win on our turn. Although I have to say, we've already milled a number of Time Walk effects. At least one, we have 2 in our hand. There's the Grease Fang. Am I dead? So I believe I'm taking 16 here. I'm sorry, 15? 5 plus 8 is 13, plus 2 is 15, so I'll be at 5, and I really need this Otherworldly Gaze to hit. Actually, I'm dead anyway. Those angel tokens that it makes, I guess I am not dead. I theoretically have an out here. It's going to be tough, but I'd have to hit a Karn's Temporal Sundering off of the dragon. Alright, I'm going to 5. Okay. Let's flash back. Otherworldly Gaze. We found the founding the third path, which is great. We definitely needed that, so we'll mill these. Keep the founding. And this is a spot where this card is really shining here. Alright, so we'll untap, we'll draw it. I'll deal myself a couple damage going to 3. Oh, I didn't need to do that. That was silly. That was just a waste of damage. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Remove some Tasigurs. Alright, deck. Heart of the cards, right? We want to skip straight to chapter 3. We will exile the Neoform and cast it. Sacrificing. Oh, wow. I didn't know that I had to pay the cost. That is way worse than I thought. I did not realize that. I thought you got to play it for free. Well then. That's awkward. I will shame concede. Yikes. Okay. Reading is difficult. We learned something there. I am way less excited about this card right now. Everybody in the comment section of the last video came back. So a lot of people watched videos multiple times, and I truly appreciate that. Thank you. But when cards are spoiled, people will find the latest video and be like, what do you think about this card? Which is great. I love the engagement. But a lot of people mentioning this card just being absolutely cracked in this deck. I am less convinced now. Let's see how the rest of this league plays out, but that was not a good showing in my opinion. Okay, so what's the game plan now? Probably want some copies of Abrupt Decay to interact with Grease Fang. I'm gonna board these out. I do like Thoughtseize. We're at 62. Maybe I just board out the Thoughtseize, like board down to 2. I don't really want to board out anything else because it's a part of our combo, and if you do that, you're diluting your deck, and I'm not really interested in that. One of the bad parts about Thoughtseize is, let's say your opponent doesn't have a Grease Fang, and you end up discarding something they actually want in their graveyard. So there is a little bit of risk associated with that. This hand's very good. We will keep. Opponent with a mulligan. You might be thinking, founding the third path is still really good. I just need to learn how to read. You could argue that, and it's reasonable. I guess the issue that I see is that you have to set up in order to flash it back then, because there I had 4 lands and that still wasn't enough. If 4 lands isn't enough to set up in this deck, you shouldn't be playing the card, because this deck wants to hit 3 lands and then never see another. So I don't know if that card is actually appropriate for what we're trying to do here. They play a Temple Garden. Alright, I will cast this Otherworldly Gaze. We found land 3. Let's keep that. Okay, play the Watery Grave. Ouch. Pass the turn. They play Blooming Marsh. Okay. And it looks like they're passing here. So if I go all in, they could have an Assassin's Trophy. I only have the 1 dragon in the deck, so if they trophy me, I am KO'd. I guess I could find a Thoughtseize off this. Grizzly Salvage. Okay, so now we know the window's open. Alright, Otherworldly Gaze. Don't really need any of these. Let's just mill them all. Actually, I'm going to leave the land on top. So the reason to leave the land is so that I don't accidentally draw the other Velomachus. Oh no! I'm such a dummy. I forgot that we didn't have 5 cards for the Tasigur. No! I just bit myself in the butt here. That is incredibly awkward. Wow. That's so bad. I'm going to pass the turn. That was just terrible. For some reason in my head, I was like, yeah, we have 5. It's going to be fine. Damn. Okay. 3 mana. Graveyard Trespasser. So now they get to remove one of the cards too, so that slows me down another turn. I could have played the Tasigur here, but I wanted to avoid removal, and now I'm just being punished. Okay. I guess I could still go off this turn if I draw exactly Otherworldly Gaze. Draw another part. Okay, I'm just going to play the Tasigur. If they have a removal spell, I lost this game for myself. Okay. They have 5 cards in hand. Land number 3. I'm sorry, land 4. And it looks like they're just passing. Okay. Let's attempt to Neoform. We'll grab the dragon. Go to combat. I don't like this pause. Attack. Alright, we got our trigger. We'll look at the cards. We will take Karn's Temporal Sundering, target us, and then we will bounce the Graveyard Trespasser. I will discard the Velomachus Lorehold. Alright, and we get in for 6. If I draw an untapped land, I can take another turn. Draw. Let's attack with the dragon. We did not hit another Time Walk. So instead, I think what we do is we cast the Thoughtseize. Interesting, they did not play Greasefang. They could have played... They just really valued the Trespasser, I guess. Okay. Let's play the Hoots. Remove Thoughtseize. Pass the turn. Rafine's Informant. And our opponent concedes the game. So we will be going to game 3 now. And hopefully I play a little bit better in that one, because that game was just embarrassing. I think I just resubmit. Game 3. This hand is so bad. We're definitely going to mulligan this. We have... This is essentially a 4-card hand as it is. Alright, so this is essentially a 5. We're missing the Neoform and the Delve creature. I guess we keep this. I mean, I don't want to go too low against the deck that has 4 Thoughtseize in it, so let's try this. Concealed Courtyard. And they pass. Draw. Alright, so we hit land 3. The next step is drawing creature and then Neoform. They play a green source. Interesting. They're just passing the turn. Okay. We get another scheming. Let's deal myself a little bit of damage here. Cast it. No creature, no Neoform. Easy mills. Pass. Grizzly Salvage. Yup. Uh-oh. They hit both the Greasefang and the Parhelion here. I am in trouble. I could have kept up the Abrupt Decay, but I don't think that makes sense. I think we're just dead. Wow. I mean, that gave them everything they could want. Yeah. So even with the Abrupt Decay, it just wasn't enough. Draw. And we dead. Alright. So this league, we are at best we can finish 3-2. My worst record with this deck in a while. I don't think that the card changes really had much to do with our current record. I think it was a little bit of variance, and then here just getting absolutely demolished. You can't blame bad luck on this game. Alright, so we're going to focus on winning out, keep our chin up high, and I'll see you in the 4th match. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Alright, the fourth match. So I was thinking a little bit about round 3 and where I could have possibly improved, and I came to the conclusion that I sideboarded wrong. I shouldn't have brought in Abrupt Decay, I should have left Thoughtseize in the deck, and the reason why is that our critical turn for setting up is turn 2, which means that I can't afford to leave up Abrupt Decay. So if that's the case, I want something like Thoughtseize that I can play on turn 1, which is a turn where we only have 4 spells to begin with. So I should have just left in all 4 copies of Thoughtseize, so that way I can progress my game plan on the second turn like I need to if I'm going to win the match. So it was just a mistake in sideboarding. I'm not trying to say that I would have won or anything like that, but I'm just saying that I could have improved my odds is all. And now we're in match 4 against the Yorion, which is likely the Azorius control deck. I think we'll try this out. Okay. So they are in fact the Azorius control deck. Thoughtseize on 1 was a huge rip. Okay. Cast it. Portable Hole, Absorb. They have double Portable Hole, which makes this Founding the Third Path not quite as good. Let's take the Absorb. I was really excited about this card in this matchup. I did not consider Portable Hole. Another Thoughtseize. Wow, that's so good. Okay, let's cast the Scheming. Did you draw Censor? What's the pause here? Come on. Alright, there's our Neoform. No creature quite yet. But that's fine. I'm happy finding Neoform. We'll put that on top of our deck. Pass the turn. Blue, blue, white. They put Yorion to hand. Okay. Oh my god, it's a Neoform. I think I'm going to flashback the Otherworldly Gaze here. Need to find a Delve creature. So we know 4 of the 5 cards our opponent has in hand as well. Alright, our spell is finally resolved. We did in fact find the creature. It's worth noting that I do not have another black source, so what we want to do right now is just cast Thoughtseize, so that way we can use our mana effectively next turn. So I will cast this Thoughtseize, and we look at a Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Goodbye, Teferi. Pass the turn. And they're just passing, so they did not draw the land. I'm going to just jam here, so I'll deal myself 2 damage, and the reason that I'm playing the land untapped is if they drew a Censor, I want to be able to beat that. I guess it's worth noting now, it does matter what cards you exile with this list due to Founding the Third Path. So you might want to consider that just a little bit more when delving. Not that it's a huge difference maker, but just something to keep in the back of your head. Alright, let's do it. Velomachus will enter the battlefield, go to combat, attack, trigger. And what a whiff. Wow. Okay. That stunk. I guess we'll leave these both on top. We just have to pass the turn here. How embarrassing. And a concession. So we've picked up game number 1 over Azorius control. The deck we were looking to beat today, so let's see if we can make that happen. We're going to bring in 4 copies of Duress, Spell Pierce, Sphinx, and an Abrupt Decay. Board out the 8 Time Walk effects. What we're really trying to do here is just provide a more consistent deck. So now we're at 62, and then I think you can just board out the Velomachus. It's not actually that good here if you're going to board out the part the Waterveils unless you plan on chaining discard spells, which might actually be effective enough. So the question is, do you want Abrupt Decay for something like Rest in Peace? I'm going to try boarding up the Finding the Third Paths and do 2 Abrupt Decay. Let's try this out. Leaving 1 Velomachus. Game 2. And of course I open hand it. I mean, I think that this is a keep. I mean, if you're going to complain about this being a 6-card hand or whatever, I get it, but like the rest of this hand is very good in the matchup. And we even rip the Scheming. Alright, Duress you. Supreme Verdict. That is one of the few answers that their deck has to our Sphinx, so I'm definitely interested in discarding that. It's worth noting, Field of Ruin is very good against us. We have 0 basics. Okay. They drew Castle Vantress. Okay, let's find more lands off this Scheming. There is a land. Oh no, both copies of Sphinx. I don't like that. So I guess we're actually hoping to get Field of Ruined. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that is the game plan here. Omen. They did not play the Field of Ruin. Draw. Thought sees you. Maybe I shouldn't have cleared that. That was a mistake, because if they counterspell this now, I look a little silly. Let's discard the Dovin's Veto. And then I'll play the Mandrills with Spell Pierce up. Spell Pierce. Okay. We have both Sphinxes on top of our deck right now, which is... Okay, so we have another draw step here. Unfortunately, I have to draw one of the Sphinxes. Get in for 4, this puts them to 16. Then we'll cast Neoform. Just hope that the Sphinx will be enough. Alright, pass. Right now it's a 3-turn clock. Memory Deluge, they get to put 2 cards to hand. They finally play the Field of Ruin. Draw. Hoots, get in. They could cycle the Shark Typhoon to block. They have 4 cards. I'm going to just play the Mandrills, make them counter it. Alright, they're at 10 life. They're going to sacrifice Omen of the Sea. Oh no, they're flashing it in, my bad. That's a new card. 3 mana. And they're going to cycle Shark Typhoon. Okay. I was a little bit worried that they were going to try to make a shark big enough to block the Sphinx, but that doesn't appear to be the case. There's Teferi. They can put the Mandrills third from the top, and they do. Alright, draw. Contingency Plan. Attack them. They wisely block. Post-combat, we will play Contingency Plan. I think we want to keep Spell Pierce. Okay, I'm going to keep the Mandrills as well. They plus Teferi. Land number 7. So that gives them enough mana to flashback the Memory Deluge. No basics. They now have that information. Really want to draw a discard spell here. 7 mana. They flash it back in their main phase. Wise decision. So we know that we're at least knocking them down to 4 here. Come on, discard spell. Not quite. Attack them. They go to 4. Scheming. I mean, this Thoughtseize doesn't matter because I think the game's going to be over or it's not, but let's see. They plus. They could have sacrificed Omen to Scry first, in case they drew into Supreme Verdict. They cycle. They play a land. Alright, do they have another Shark Typhoon? Thoughtseize. Settle the Wreckage. Wow. Get in. Was not expecting to settle the Wreckage here. They cast another Deluge. They have another one? Oh no! I mean, if they've got it, they've got it. I'm not going to concede. That doesn't stop here. Yeah, okay, we've got it. We are now 2-2, and we've beaten the matchup we were looking to beat today. So this plan might be effective. It probably needs a larger sample size to know that for sure, but hey, it at least won one match. So that's a plus. So let's just focus on winning match number 5. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. The 5th and final match of this league, we're on the draw. I don't know. This hand's essentially mulligan to 5, but 2 lands. We have some mill effects. I guess I'll keep. I'm not thrilled with this hand. Main deck Leyline of the Void, huh? Alright, we're not happy about this. That just happened to crush us. My list admittedly does not play cards for Leyline because it doesn't really exist. Most people do not play it even in their sideboards in this format, and here we sort of just lost the matchup lottery. I'm going to stick around and figure out what they're up to, but don't expect to win out of here. We're going to finish this league 2-3. Okay, they've taken the Otherworldly Gaze when they have a Leyline of the Void. Pass the turn. Castle Octane. Gifted Aetherborn. Draw. I guess we'll cast this Thoughtseize. Target you. Goodbye, Liliana. So I guess if I draw 3 lands in a row, we stand a chance. Draw. There's one. No point in playing Founding the Third Path. It's worth noting here, if that was a strategic planning, I'd have a play to make here to help advance my game plan. Draw. Another Karn's Temporal Sundering. Perfect. Can I please have 2 more lands in a row? They activate the castle. I have no idea what this is. Apparently I exile a card from my hand. Let's exile the Founding the Third Path. And it's a shade, so it gets larger. You can spend 3 mana to pump it +1/+1. Okay. They play a Warlock class. What does that do? At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, each opponent loses 1 life. When it becomes level 2, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them to your hand, the rest to the graveyard, or 7 mana. Each opponent loses life to the number of life they've lost this turn. Okay. Land. Why, oh why? Pass the turn. They have 1 card. They have leveled up the Warlock class. And now we'll take at least 3, possibly 4. Alright, we're at 9 life. They play another discard creature. Sure. And we're... I don't think we... Yeah, we're deterministically dead because I can't play the Hooting Mandrills in time now. Alright, so that was unfortunate. I still don't think you should be running answers to Leyline in this deck. Let's bring in some copies of Spell Pierce. Get rid of these Thought Seizes. Replicate is probably better than Thoughtseize here. I mean, there's not a whole lot I can do. Actually, founding the third path is terrible. It's not going to let me take that out. Come on. Too late. I was not impressed with that card this event. This seems ridiculous, but it is good against discard. So, let's try it out. Opponent starts off with Leyline of the Void again, and we have lost the game. Alright. Thoughtseize. If you wanted to, you could play something like a Boseiju in the sideboard to answer this. I don't think it's worthwhile. Like, I just accept getting paired into your opponent's brews that sometimes beat you. I'm not trying to be mean here, but this card is just like not a viable main deck card. It's even a questionable sideboard card. So if you want to play to beat it, you can. I just don't think the sideboard slots are worthwhile. Draw. Alright, we've hit land 4 again. Can we draw into more? Ouch. Liliana, and we are officially locked out of this game. Do I want to sit here and lose slowly? That is the real question. I don't think my answer is yes. Okay. Blessing again. We'll discard the Karn's Temporal Sundering. Ouch. Sure. Okay. Draw. I'm going to call it. So we went 2-3, not the best record. In fact, pretty bad record. I would argue that I lost myself one of those rounds. I mean, I wasn't guaranteed to win or anything, but I could have played better. So that's sort of a bummer. I did accomplish what I was looking to do today, which is beat Azorius control. I think founding the third path was terrible. I would not play this card again. I know that a lot of people were really excited about this card in this deck, but it seemed really underwhelming to me. I'd rather have strategic planning any day of the week. Would I change anything about the sideboard? I don't think that this league was a real indicator of the strength of the board or not, so I'd say no. We lost to MonoWhite, which I think is actually a good matchup. I sort of just like hit the bad end of variance there. And then the MonoBlack matchup, I don't think that was a real situation. No offense to our opponent or anything like that, but sometimes you get got and that happens. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I'm sorry this video didn't go very well, but cheers and keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.